This happened to my best friend Brittany about a year and a half ago. Brittany never had to think twice about how she appeared to other people. Confidence, beauty, youth. She was all of it and more. Because of her spectacular looks and her good timing in being born, she took off on Instagram. Her page skyrocketed with hundreds of thousands of followers seemingly overnight, and she couldn't get enough attention. She wanted more and more, and with the followers came offers from companies. She was offered free clothing to try on in her Instagram story, which she did. The clothing made her look gorgeous, exposing her body in just the right way that made her even more popular. Makeup companies sent her samples to review, and she even had a few offers of being a clothing and makeup model. She was careful of these, though. Everyone knows the stories of models who are abducted or taken advantage of during fake photo shoots. She never signed up for a single one because of this, yet the one she received just today seemed very promising. And quickly, only one slot opened for a new photo shoot for Fashion Nova. It was signed by a prominent photographer. He even attached a few sample photos of his work to the email that was sent to her, displaying other women of beauty in luxurious clothing, eating exotic fruits with bright red lipstick, and wearing only the most expensive of jewelry. His watermark was all over the pictures, and he even signed the bottom with a disclaimer of copyright rules. How could this be fake? On the day indicated, Brittany put herself together in only the best way possible. The advertisement for the opening said to be ready for an immediate photo shoot for the company upon acceptance into the elite position. She had on a smoky eyeshadow. Her hair was down and blown out, and her outfit was staggeringly eye-catching. She was riveted with herself and the thought of this possibly being her big break. What would she do with all that fame and fortune? She thought to herself, putting on her designer coat and strapping a name brand bag across her chest. It laid gently on her hip. She clicked a few apps on her phone and ordered an Uber to come pick her up. She was shivering with excitement. The Uber came timely, and she stepped into the little black car that came to pick her up. Maybe the first thing she would do would be to buy a luxury car? Everyone she sees on Instagram had beautiful, expensive, exotic cars to show off. Why shouldn't she? It was a few minutes before her Google Maps app told her the driver had missed her stop, but she didn't see a photography studio or its sign anywhere near that supposed address. She decided to speak up to the driver.
Excuse me?"
she said with an uptone at the end of her statement.
"You missed my stop. It was a half a block back that way."
She pointed over her shoulder. Her dagger-like acrylic nail glinting in the dim sunlight blocked the tall buildings. One of her perfectly drawn-in eyebrows went up in her irritation for the slight chance of being late.
"I know exactly where we are going,"
said the man in the driver's seat. He hadn't said a single word up until this point, but at the end of the block he took a left. Brittany took a sigh of relief when she thought the man was turning around the block and getting her safely to her destination. She sat back in her seat and tapped through her phone to her best friend. Almost there, arriving safely. The driver missed the turn. She texted out, her phone making soft tapping sounds as it recognized her keystrokes. She heard a soft blip as her friend sent a thumbs-up emoji and a text only saying, "Good luck." She stuffed her phone back in her push-up bra and waited for the driver to pull over at her stop. He did not pull over. Instead, the driver turned into what seemed to be a personal parking garage. He clicked a button on his visor that opened the garage door and he drove in. Her heart started to race.
Hey, what are you doing? This isn't where I was supposed to be. I'm supposed to be getting off at a photo studio on the other side of the block.
She tried to open the car door as they were moving slowly enough. She figured she could hop out. The door was locked. She flicked the unlock button, but it did not move. It didn't even feel like a real button. She pressed it again, firmly, and the edge of it came up. It was a plastic sticker. The back handle wasn't even real and gave no option to pull open. She was trapped.
Let me out, you freak! What is this?
She screamed, shaking the door so hard that the whole car rocked back and forth.
Let me out! Let me out! Let me out!
The car drove on, and the man stayed silent. The only thing he did was flip another little button that caused a plexiglass window to start to rise between the front and back passenger seats.
Hey, stop it! Let me out! I'm going to call the police!
She tried to pry the window down, but her long nails prevented her from getting a good grip, and her hands slipped away from the smooth surface as it sealed in the roof of the car. She banged on the window, but the plexiglass barely even rattled. The garage door was closing behind them as she felt the car slope down into the underground parking lot. In a panic, she pulled out her phone to try and text her friend, but there was no signal. And just as the last light of the garage door filtered away, she saw her only message she was able to send to her friend was that she arrived safely, which couldn't be further from the truth.